Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. Well, it's laundry day. Usually a couple times a week I have to come down and do some laundry. So when I do, that's when I usually tinker around and wait for the laundry to be finished and do some projects. Let me show you what we got on hand here. I went to a tractor show just recently, picked up some nice stuff. Look at these. You can see the prices you get when you go to a good show. $4 for this beautiful Stanley hand drill. These were $6. The breast drills. Going to be doing restoration on them. Got a couple other things. Here's a nice vise, Colombian vise, $8. Look at that. All it's missing is a swivel base, but I never use a swivel base. I usually put it onto a board and clamp it to my workbench. So perfect little vise for $8. And then, but this is with, oh, look at this. Here's something nice. I always wanted one of these. A Williams 3/4 inch ratchet. Isn't that beautiful? $15 for this. I couldn't believe it. And got a couple of these three I have to restore. Just got these. This is what we're going to be doing today. Now, these C-clamps. Let me tell you about them. Okay, we're going to be restoring the Cincinnati Tool Company. And you could see it right here. The name on there, Cincinnati Tool Company, made in the USA. These are drop forged clamps. These things are fantastic. I mean, I love the feel of these clamps. They're heavy too, not like the pressed clamps or steel clamp. These are forged, and the problem you have with a lot of these, obviously, is they sit for a while, they get rusted up. What you have to look for when you're buying these clamps: number one, you don't want it to be bent. That's always a pain to straighten out. Number two, sometimes these precious swivel plates are missing. You can make them on a lathe, no problem. I've done it before, but it's always nice to have it with them. You know, the clamp is overall straight, and that's it. These things are pretty bulletproof. Now, if you listen, you see that? That's no problem. They all sound like that because they've been neglected. They haven't been lubricated. All these have to be cleaned, lubricated. We're going to do that. We're going to take it over to wire brush. Here we have a little bit of rust on this one. That's surface rust. That's no problem. We're going to paint these black. We're going to bring this back and quick restoration. So let's get to it. Now, when you're prepping any kind of metal for paint, you have a lot of options on which way you could take the rust off. You can use an acid bath. You can use sandblasting. I like to use the wire brush. It's almost therapeutic to me. It's just relaxing going around. But as you'll see here, it's a little difficult to get in a lot of these areas. What's nice is the Baldor's got those long shaft extensions, helps you to get around it easier. What makes it easier for me, I have a smaller diameter wheel on the left side. And if I have to get into the threads, you can see it really helps here by using that smaller wheel. Okay, we're finished with the wire brushing, and again, remember, safety glasses really important, and a dust mask, because you know the rust on this iron can, you know, mess with your lungs. But now we go with the little wire brush. We got these pretty much rust free, you know, a nice job on the wire brush, and that's one of the reasons I have that second wheel on there, because you can't get in on everything. And even here, I still got some areas I got to get into, so we'll do it with the wire brush, and then we'll get to the next step where we're going to clean them. Now, just to show you, here's another clamp I had. This one here is a gray one, and you could see that this is an old one, ready for restoration also, but you could see that they came in all different kind of colors. So black, gray, Cincinnati put them out depending on who was using them. This one has a little weld splatter on the tip here. That is a little better, but you can see how nice these tips are here. Beautiful. So we're going to wash these down, clean them up, get rid of the rust, and get to the next step. Now, you see I'm using this small hand stainless steel wire brush again. These things are great. If you don't have a mechanical brush, pick up a couple of these. They work great. Okay, now that we have all the clamps nicely wire brushed, cleaned up, we even got inside the threads here. These are Acme threads, real nice. Everything looks good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to prep them for paint. What we do is we take this, we used to call this prep all or metal prep, but Clean Strip makes this. You can get this at a Home Depot, and it's prep and etch, and it's phosphoric acid. And what it is you take this and you dilute it. That's what it looks like straight. You dilute this 3 parts water, 1 part of the prep and etch, and then you could brush it in, or I take a rag and really wipe this stuff down really good. You let it sit for 15 to 30 minutes, and then you rinse it off with water. Now I know water and metal, you're thinking, oh God, this stuff will stop any future rust. It locks it right in. Then afterwards, then we'll prep it, and I'll show you where we're at from there. Now, I could have easily just wiped this down with mineral spirits, sprayed it with a primer, and been done, but this is just a little bit different for these. Okay, it's been 20 minutes since the metal prep, and you could see it leaves a gray surface on there. That's the etching going on. And now what we're going to do is we're going to rinse all that off with water, and then we're going to put it to dry. Okay, we finished washing them, cleaning them with clean, fresh water. Now I know these look like crap right now. You're probably thinking, man, they look so much better before. Why'd you mess them up? Well, you have to do this step, especially if they're going to be outside or something. This is the difference between a something that'll rust under the paint and something that won't. These are now protected. Now they have to be painted within 24 hours. That's how this thing works. But we're going to wait till these dry. Like I said, it's on top of the furnace, and then we're going to paint them. Everything is taped up now, and we're going to wipe it down with some mineral spirits and then spray it. It's been over 24 hours since we painted the clamps. I put it under a box here on top of the burner. This here maintains a temperature of about 130, 140 degrees or something. These are dry now, baked on. You can see the finish is very nice. What we're going to do is we're still going to leave this on here uncovered, and we're going to leave it here for another 12 hours, and tomorrow we'll remove the tape and buff out the screws. Well, it's been about 48 hours. We're finished. We took it down. We had to make sure we went over this a little bit with the wire brush, make sure if there was any overspray or anything. Then we lubricated it. First we went in with some penetrating oil, sprayed the whole thing with penetrating oil, and then we finished it up, wiped the penetrating oil off, and finished it up with some of my special mix 50-50 grease and straight 30 motor oil, and that'll really make it nice. This is so smooth, it feels like a bearing in there. And it's really important, you always have to make sure you have grease in this cup here, because when you're clamping this down, this is supposed to stay stationary while the clamp puts pressure on. You should always lubricate your clamps, but came out really nice. You could see that the writing, Cincinnati Tool Company, made in USA. They use Armor Steel. It's called Armor Steel for these clamps. Really enjoy these. I have a few of them. Here's a restoration I did about, I guess about 7 years ago. These are really older clamps, but you could see they hold up really well and they work fantastic. If you come across these clamps at a flea market or a garage sale or something, don't hesitate to pick them up. They do come out. I did this one here in red. You could see this one's going upstate, and anything upstate in the can tend to get lost if you don't have a high visibility color. So I took the one that had the welding splatter and made that red. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Restoration of Cincinnati Tool Company 4-inch clamps. I think the number on here is I think it was 5460, if I'm not mistaken. These aren't these are too old that they don't even have the model number stamped on them, but I think the later ones, they also had a shaft that went through here instead of the thumb and forefinger type. But anyway, good for another 50 years at least. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Have a nice day.